Are you looking at someone else's progress and thinking, why can't that be me? Maybe it's a friend who dropped 10 pounds in a month, or a coworker who seems to have it all together while you're just trying to make it through the day. Please understand this. Comparison doesn't just steal joy, it hijacks your focus. And when you're already feeling like you might be failing, it is the fastest way to feel like quitting. Welcome to episode 9 of Making Mel Health in the Hustle. This podcast is a place where motherhood meets muscle, ambition meets exhaustion, and figuring out how to prioritize my health journey into the insanely beautiful chaos of a busy life is what I talk about. Some days it'll look messy, and some days flawless. But no matter what kind of day I'm having, I can assure you, I will tell the truth and do my best to give you some good ideas and insight that will help prioritize your own journey. So let's get into the cost of comparison. When I started at Iron Night Gym at the end of 2018, I felt like I was lagging behind every single person in the group. Now, don't get it twisted. The people in the boot camps never ever made me feel that way. The people were wonderful. They pulled me in and they took me along, and they never treated me like I was anything but part of that group, part of the success. But as the biggest one in the group, I struggled within myself. I watched others exceeding the progress that I was making, even though I was putting in the effort. And I could not figure out why I was not sharing the same level of success as everyone else. I had to take a very long look at myself and figure out why. The first thing was obvious. I was the biggest one in the group. So things that everyone else was doing were harder for me to do, just based on size and ability to move. Looking back, I was succeeding at the same level as everyone else, but my success was based on where I was. See, I started in a very different place than everyone else, and I wanted what everyone else had. I was never athletic. I was 386 pounds when I started the gym. I had asthma, and I needed a breathing treatment prior to every single boot camp that I participated in. The other thing, as usual, my brain wanted to do way more than my body was capable of. I also did not understand the value of rest. So I ended up sick and injured more than anyone else in the group. Of course I lost weight, and I gained ability, though it be a little slower than everyone else. But I had the most odds stacked against me coming in the door. I wasn't able to make peace with that until I accepted that my journey was mine, and I stopped comparing it to everyone else. Because like me, my journey's unique. Other people's journey was never mine. They didn't belong to me. My pace isn't slow. It's sustainable for me. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You cannot compare your work behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Your journey only belongs to you, and their journey belongs to them. And here's the silent truth. Their journey may be filled with demons that torture them in ways you can't even imagine. We never know the battles that someone else is fighting, no matter how good they may appear on the outside, because most of everyone's battles happens on the inside. We have a Weight Watcher coach, Coach Nikki, who has the most beautiful singing voice, and occasionally she sings for us during a moment in a workshop. Now, I can certainly carry a tune, but she sounds like an angel. There is no comparison. She has her skills, and I have mine. I don't need to be like her. I just need to be like me. When we compare our weight loss or our meal planning, our workouts, our morning routine to another person's, we miss the boat. Setting up for success looks different for everyone. And there may be pieces of other people's routine that we can incorporate, but we can't compare how someone else is succeeding to our success. Some people may focus on points while others focus on calories or macros, or some like me focus on calories and macros. Other people focus more on movement. The beauty is making the pieces that work for your life. And the hard part is that some parts of the health journey come easier for some folks than others. When we look at someone else's success and feel like we are falling behind, we've lost sight of the big picture. You know, I've been working at this health journey for 7 years now. The knowledge and the habits that I have cannot be compared with someone who just started this journey a year ago, even if their scale number is lower than mine. And my experience cannot be compared with someone who reached their lifetime goal and has maintained it for the last 10 years. We are not on level playing field. I think that wanting what someone else has is a normal thing. But we need to remember, we all have a slew of invisible factors that impact our health, whether it's sleep or mental health or trauma or genetics or even our support systems. These areas often need addressed right along with movement and meal planning before we can move forward. Moving away from comparison requires you to know what your strengths are and to see yourself clearly. When we look in the mirror, comparison can get hold of us. Sometimes we only see flaws. We allow our focus to determine how we feel instead of seeing the flaws for what they really are. The flaws are pieces that have built our character and carried us through life. The stretch marks, the scars, the sagging skin. The mirror is very limited. It only shows what's on the surface. The mirror will never allow us to see our character, our commitment, or our effort. The mirror simply gives us a reflection of what we look like in the moment. And we've all done it. Got so caught up in the mirror and what is wrong with us compared to all the other people on the planet that we fail to see the truth. We fail to see the amazing, incredibly unique, and profoundly valuable human being looking back at us. Do you know that I had an entire 10-year period where I did not even look in the mirror? Now, I brushed my hair in the morning, I'd throw it up in a messy bun, but I didn't wear makeup, I made no effort, and I took no time to pay attention to the mirror. It was because I was in such a complete self-loathing phase. I hated the way I looked so much that I didn't look. And by the time I did look, I almost didn't recognize the person looking back at me. Now, every morning, I stare into the beautiful 53-year-old brown eyes, deep with their pain that they've carried, wiser for the stage that I've made it to, and I tell myself, eye to eye, in that mirror, all the things I know that are true. You are a warrior. You are a princess. You are fierce. You are strong. You are smart and you matter. And you were valuable the whole time, even when you couldn't see it. You know, one of our other Weight Watcher coaches, Coach Andrea, is focused in on self-compassion. And she ends every single one of her workshops the same way. And people just wait to hear her say it because it captures the truth that many of us miss on the daily. The world needs what you've got. And she is right. You are the only one in the world who's exactly like you. And if you waste your time comparing yourself to others, you miss the point. The world needs what you've got. Not your adorable sister or your handsome brother or the beautiful stranger in the magazine with the perfect body. The world needs what you've got. That's the point. When we look through a window and see others, that picture is filtered. We don't see the whole story. We only see the piece of them that's right before our eyes. You may look at someone and believe, wow, they have it together. When in actuality, you don't see their pain, their past, their pressure. As humans, we often assume that other people have it easier than we do. that everyone has their meal plans or their movement and their schedules all figured out. When the truth is, most of us are a few steps away from watching it all fall down. No one has it all together. And if they tell you that they do, they're lying. Most of us are trying to do our very best. We strive for the things that excite us and fill our hearts. And sometimes the mirror that we look in needs cleaned up with self-compassion. And the window that we peer through needs adjusted with curiosity, not judgment. We have to learn how to be kind to ourselves as we often are to others. Comparison hurts. It can lead to shame and burnout and self-doubt when we don't measure up to whatever we think we need to be. And none of that serves us on our health journey. We have got to stop punishing ourselves for not being someone else or doing it the way that somebody else does, maybe better than we think we can. You know, Coach Valerie focuses most of her workshops on mindset. And she says that weight is a symptom of what's going on between your ears. Mindset plays a huge role in the way we see ourselves and how we compare ourselves to others. When we get our mindset strong, weight loss is an inevitable consequence. Do you know how many times in the last 7 years that I have asked myself why it was taking me so long to get where I'm headed while other people just seem to be flying by me? Now, at this stage, I gladly embrace the idea that my health journey is like that of a turtle. Do you know that turtles are the only animals in the animal kingdom that need to stick out their necks to move forward? They also get stuck if they land on their back. Interestingly, when they get stuck on their back and they're flailing helplessly, vulnerable to predators and on the verge of dying, other turtles will come alongside them and flip them back over. Can you imagine how much further you could get ahead if you surrounded yourself with people who flipped you upright after you fell hard and got stuck? I do. Because those are the people that I'm doing this health journey with. Those are the people that I choose. I fight alongside other people who are fighting battles that I can't see every day. I do my very best with what I have. And it's true, I give a lot to others. But I also honor my pace and I trust my path. And I know that my successes can certainly not be built wearing anyone else's shoes but mine. Like Cinderella, my shoes are the only ones that fit me. So the next time you catch yourself comparing yourself to somebody else, pause and ask yourself, what's the truth right now? What is it that's making me feel vulnerable? And why am I comparing myself to whoever the person is? Think about what you're proud of, no matter how small. And remember, you are the only one who can offer this world what you have. And that makes you more than enough, flaws and all. Next time, we may be jumping down the rabbit hole, but I'm planning to tackle body dysmorphia. So until then, onward and upward, my friends.